Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're going to talk about a palette that is very near and dear to my heart. It's the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. They just released a new version of this palette with their Naturally Beautiful collection, but this is a palette that's been around for a while. I should know because I have the original. It's received a few updates through the years. This is the original Natural Eyes palette. This has cardboard packaging, no mirror, and this was the first palette I ever bought. Of course, it's very old, it's not safe to use anymore, but I do keep it on display on the shelves above my vanity back here. This really started my love of makeup. This started my love of YouTube. This palette is the reason I ever looked up a makeup tutorial on YouTube way back in 2011. I'll show you a close-up because this thing has been through a lot. It's actually pretty clean, I think, for how much I've used it, but you can see there is some serious use going on in these shadows because this was my only eyeshadow palette at the time. You know, I am definitely a collector of Too Faced palettes. This is the one that started it all. Several years ago, the Natural Eyes palette got its first makeover. This one's from 2013. So they switched it to the tin packaging, and then of course it got a little mirror, and they did switch a couple of the shades in here. I'm gonna do comparison swatches of all three of these palettes so you can really see the shades side by side. This palette has gotten a major overhaul this year. I'm so excited to share this one with you. Just look at it. Look at this packaging. Has a cute little heart clasp. Now the pans have this lace print. There's also a really good size mirror in here. It still has 9 shades. Some of the shades have changed throughout the years. More about the shades later. First, let me give you some info about this new Natural Eyes palette. You can see it is a bit larger, and it's not perfectly flat anymore. The packaging is a combination of metal and a heavy-duty plastic. It has a magnetic closure. It has a huge mirror inside here. It still has 9 shades. It still has the 3 large pans with the 6 smaller pans off to the side here. Still does not come with a brush or anything like that. The price on this one has gone up just a little bit. It now retails for $38, although I did purchase mine on sale from Macy's. So if you keep your eyes peeled, you may be able to snag this on sale somewhere already. I know, a new release on sale. Amazing. I believe that this one in the tin packaging was only $36. I'm not positive on that. I believe this was $36. This is now $38. But for those $2 extra, you're getting, first of all, a beautiful packaging upgrade. This one also has just a tiny bit more product. According to the labels on the backs of the palettes, this one has about a half a gram more eyeshadow inside. So not a crazy huge amount, but it does seem that there's slightly more eyeshadow in the 6 smaller pans off to the side. The newest version of the Natural Eyes palette now smells like coconuts. I believe that it's formulated with coconut oil. I can't find that on the Sephora website, but I feel like I saw that on the Too Faced Instagram page. So this palette does have a very light, sweet coconut smell. It's not as powerful of a fragrance as the Just Peachy Mattes palette. I feel like that one I can smell the peach before I even open it, but this one, when I open it, I just get a little like waft of coconut. But if I sniff it, it smells like coconuts, and I love coconut things. I love scented makeup. I love it, is what I'm trying to say. Now I'm going to show you the swatches of all 3 versions of this palette so that you can see how it's changed over the years, and you can also see some up-close swatches of this newest palette. And then I'll do a quick tutorial showing you how I got this eye look using the newest version of the Natural Eyes palette. This is the shade Heaven from each of the 3 palettes. This is the cardboard packaging, the tin packaging, and then the new Natural Eyes palette. Now we have the second shade from the top row. In the cardboard packaging, the shade was called Velvet Revolver. And then in the tin packaging, it makes the shift to the shade Cashmere Bunny. And this one's also called Cashmere Bunny from the newest release. You can see that Cashmere Bunny is a bit of a deeper, more medium brown, whereas Velvet Revolver was a more cool-toned, grayish taupey kind of shade. This is the shade SEXPRESSO. It has the same name in all 3 palettes. Again, we have the cardboard packaging, the tin packaging, and now the new Natural Eyes. This newest version of SEXPRESSO has the tiniest bit more warmth to it. Maybe it's just a bit more neutral, whereas these two are slightly cool toned. I don't know what it is about this one. It just has a softness to it that I find very useful because I don't like super, super dark eye looks. So I'm happy to see just the tiniest bit of change here in this shade. This is the shade called Silk Teddy. And look how bright the original Silk Teddy was. I mean, these are still very beautiful, but I feel like this is so much brighter. I wish that it was still this super metallic shade because I love a bright, bright inner corner highlight. So I love this shade for that. But this is Silk Teddy from all three. You can see that the color looks pretty much the same across the board. It's just this original one was so bright and metallic. So that's the cardboard packaging, tin packaging, and then the newest palette. This is the shade called Push Up, cardboard, tin, and newest palette. And I think this is probably the most consistent across all the releases, which I'm so happy about because this is my favorite and most used shade out of the palette. I just love this as an all over lid color. Push Up is perfect. This is the shade Erotica, another one that has remained the same shade name through all three versions of the palette. And this is another one where I feel like the original in the cardboard packaging is my favorite. This one has more of a gold sheen that's dispersed through the shade, whereas the tin packaging in the newest palette have more of a gold glitter throughout. So I do prefer this finish. I'm just not a huge fan of like glittery matte shades, but I love how this one has some glitter, but it also has a shift to it, like a gold sheen throughout. I'm not mad at these two, I just prefer this one. This is the shade in the bottom left-hand corner of the palette, and as you can see, this is the one that has changed the most dramatically from version to version of this Natural Eyes palette. Thank goodness they got rid of the one from the cardboard packaging. This is called Nude Beach. It's a champagne shimmer shade, but it just has absolute chunks of glitter in it. I'm so glad that they moved on and switched this shade to another matte. I love my original Natural Eyes palette, but I seriously loathe this shade, so I'm so glad they changed it. In the tin packaging, it's this shade called Nudie, and I love that they changed it to a matte and went for another transition type shade, but I do think that this is a little bit too similar to the shade called Cashmere Bunny that appears in the top row. So I think they've really hit the nail on the head by switching it to a lighter transition shade here. In the newest palette, the shade's called Strip Poker. I do think this really perfects the palette, really rounds it out. They finally landed on the winner here. Thank goodness, because we've come so far since Nude Beach. This shade is called Honey Pot. It does appear in all three versions of this palette. The original Honey Pot from the cardboard packaging was super metallic. Then they went for a more kind of satiny shimmer in the tin packaging, and we're back to a really shiny, more metallic gold for the Honey Pot in the latest release. I'm so glad to see that. I also love Honey Pot as an all-over lid color, so I'm happy to see that it's back and brighter. This is the final shade. In the original cardboard packaging, the shade was called Cocoa Puff. Then in the tin packaging, they switched it to Chocolate Martini. And in the newest version, it is still called Chocolate Martini. I do think this one looks pretty much the same across the board. It's a really deep, warm brown with a lot of gold shimmers and micro glitters. And I think this one has looked pretty much the same despite the name change. Now that you've seen those comparison swatches, let's jump into the tutorial and then I'll round up all my thoughts on this new palette at the end. I'm starting off, just like I always do, with my MAC Painterly Paint Pot. This is my all-time favorite eye base. I use it in every video. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it by now. Next, we're getting into the Natural Eyes palette. It's so pretty! I'm using the shade Heaven just to set my eye base and give us a nice smooth surface to work on. Then I'm going to go into my transition shade. I'm starting with Strip Poker, and I'm just going to build that through my crease really lightly, concentrating on the outermost part of my crease first and then blending it through. Then I'm going to build up a little bit of depth using the shade Cashmere Bunny. This is a very medium brown shade. I'm not going for anything very dramatic. This is an everyday eye look for me, so I'm just blending that through the outer part of the crease and on the outer part of the lid, as well as along the lower lash line. Now that we have some nice matte shades working, it's time to add a little bit of sparkle. I'm taking the shade Chocolate Martini on a very small fluffy brush, and I'm adding that on the outer part of my lid. I'm using very precise motions here because this is super dark and I don't want to get too much into my crease. I just want it to be nice and soft, so I'm blending out with my original crease brush. Then I'm going to use my all over lid color. I'm taking the shade Push Up and I'm applying that just with my fingertip all over my eyelid for a really metallic, beautiful, bright finish. Then it's my favorite part. I'm adding my inner corner highlight. I'm using Silk Teddy on a tiny little detail brush, and I'm just packing that all around the inner corner of my eye. Last but not least, I curled my lashes and added a little bit of my favorite L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara, and that's my finished look. This is the perfect, super easy, everyday, go anywhere eye look for me. I love it. I'm gonna wear it forever and ever. I'm sure it's gonna come as no surprise to you. I am thrilled with this palette. I have loved this eyeshadow palette since 2011, and I think that this latest update absolutely hit it out of the park. They've really perfected this palette over the years. This is absolutely a staple for me. If someone said you can only wear one eyeshadow look for the rest of your life, this that I'm wearing right now would be it. This would be what I would wear. I have recommended this palette so much. I have stopped people in Sephora who were looking for a neutral palette and told them to buy this one. Not even exaggerating. Watch out, because if you're in Sephora looking lost, I will come and help you. I don't even work there. I would say if you still have this one, it's probably time to get the new version. If you have this one in the tin packaging, I don't think you really need to get the new one, but I do prefer the latest version over all the others that I've tried. I was excited about this one when it came out because I like the packaging. I think this one's more travel friendly, it's easier to store, but overall, this one is just beautiful. It is heavier, it is more of a funky shape. It's not quite as travel friendly, but I love the new packaging. All the little details from this clasp to the printed pans inside. The new mirror is out of this world. It's huge, and I also love that this mirror is adjustable, so you can have it standing up. If you're traveling, you could use this as your mirror. It stands itself up and it's really nice and big, but you can also fold it all the way down, which is something that the tin packaging can't do. So I love the packaging, I love the scent, and these new shadows are so soft, so smooth, buttery, everything you want an eyeshadow to be, these are. I didn't experience any fallout with them. I had no trouble blending them. I think they continue to look great on my eye. They don't muddy up, they don't wear off. This is just, I just freaking love it. This palette is perfect. It's so hard for me to say this, but if I could only have one palette, I would probably have this one. Don't make me say it, I love palettes. Maybe we're gonna continue to see these classic Too Faced palettes get these updates. I hope so, I'm here for it. If they bring them out, I'm gonna order them, so. I also ordered the cheek palette from this collection. That hasn't arrived yet. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a video about that. I'm really excited because that's a completely new product and it has the same gorgeous packaging, the same coconut scent. I'm just done for. I also ordered a couple of the lipsticks from this collection. I'm wearing the shade Skinny Dippin' today, so if you want to hear about the other stuff from this collection, I can talk about the lipsticks and the cheek palettes in another video. I would love to hear your thoughts on this new palette and on the new Naturally Beautiful collection. Please leave a comment and let us know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. It's perfect. Freaking perfect. I loved this palette enough to buy it 3 times. Look at this picture of Jared on the back of this one. Look at this little baby. Look at that baby. This one's from 2011. I'm sure it's gonna be, shh, texting me. Oh, you wanna bring me food? Sure, text away. Sorry I overreacted, because if it's about food, yes. Okay, get on with it. Oh my gosh, you are admitting what a crazy person you are. If the shoe fits. You got it. You're good. It's good. You're fine. Oh, huh? Gross. ever get to meet Jared Blandino, I want him to sign this palette for me. And then I'll probably cry like when I met Candy. And I cried. And she signed her lipstick packaging for me, her Too Faced collab packaging. Shameless excuse to show you this photo of me and Candy. Has nothing to do with this video, but it makes me so happy. I know that this is like the most basic eye look ever. I don't even care. I'm not even gonna say I'm sorry about it because this is the perfect look. This look could take you anywhere. You could wear this work, school, a wedding, your frenemies wedding, a funeral, your frenemy's funeral. You could wear this on a date. You could wear this to the grocery store. Just name any place. Theme park. This eye look, totally appropriate. Sitting at home on the couch, which is what I'm about to do later. This eye look, totally appropriate. Job interview, boom. Anything you can think of, this eye look would be appropriate. I'm here for it. Okay, you're rambling as usual, and it's time to end it. Could you tell that I had a terrible migraine the whole time I was making this video? I hope not. Life happens. YouTube doesn't stop for migraines, unfortunately. I'm just like feeling myself in this makeup today. Hey. My highlight is popping too. It's the ColourPop highlight palette in the NARS Wanted Cheek palette. Give them a little tattoo shoulder action. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Bye.